Yesterday's open was at, well, Sunday night open was at 649. So if it breaches that and then rejects it, I think I'll take a short there. It's close, just touched it. I like to see it breach it and then reject. I mean, exactly tick up to it. It's hard to take that trade. Could do it though. It's a high probability trade for sure. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it was the trade. So 649, yeah, that's already $250. That, unfortunately, that trade is over for now. I might take it off this 9. That gold line is the 9 EMA. And we have the coming up on VWAP. VWAP and 9 EMA are essentially the same point right now. Let's take a long here. Let's see if that holds. Not looking good. It's going to go to the 21 now. Maybe I better get out of that. If we can. I wouldn't mind adding one at the 21. This is an evaluation. I probably wouldn't do this with an actually funded account, but yeah, it's looking pretty heavy now. Let's see if we can get out of it, break even or so. Yeah, it's looking really heavy. Let's add one to it if we can. Nope, missed the entry there. Again, this is an eval, so I'm a little more aggressive than usual. Let's see if we can just get out. Yeah, so we got out break even on that. Probably could have stayed with it. It went a little deeper than I expected. I thought we'd bounce right off that 9 after such an aggressive push up. We're up 262 on the day after commissions. So now we're in kind of a no man's land for me, so I'm going to hold off on the next trade. Although we are holding that 21 EMA pretty good, but now maybe it's losing it. those wicks look pretty bullish. We're right at VWAP. That trade would have got me my 250 bucks. It just was looking so heavy. Right up in here. When it rejected the 9 twice, I thought we were going to continue back down, but it ultimately started heading up. Now, I wouldn't trust this overnight open again. It could do a double bounce off of it, but I like to just play it the first time, and I would have preferred it to actually breach it and then catch it on the way down. But it turned out to be a good trade. That was top to bottom from overnight open. Wow, it's coming back down again. Was over $500. All right, well, let's just sit and wait to see what it does. All right, that trade puts me up 450 on the morning. I was hoping to take it all the way down to the bottom to get an extra 250. That was, yeah, I was looking for another 85 bucks, but I had to trail it. I'm glad I did, because you can see it backed off quite a bit. I wouldn't mind taking that short again, but we'll hold off for now. Because I still think we're heading down. I think we're heading down to at least 589. Yeah, I think we're going to end up at 589. Let's just watch it for a minute. Wouldn't mind seeing it work its way up to 647-ish. Uh, 647.5, something like that. Seems to have found a bit of a bottom here. Yeah, a lot of resistance around that 611, 612 area. Let's just sit and watch for a moment. I was going to take that rejection of the 21, but I was too slow on the trigger because I think this is definitely coming down. It should see at least 600, I would think, right? But like 589, maybe down to 580, 85, somewhere in there. If it comes down into the 80s, I wouldn't be surprised. But the question is, when? I mean, if we back out and we look at the overnight, we are bearish. I mean, that was a pretty good pullback from 3 a.m. Central to now. But now we're in this range here. Yeah, I need a pullback before I'm going to go short. I missed my short. It's a good short, though. It should have got in around the 21 EMA. That would have been around, 620. So 620 is a good entry. And it was at the 21. That's not bad. It was pretty close. 601 and a half, it looks like, was the low there. The low was 601.5, yeah. I went and tagged the 9 again. Yeah. A little scary. Yeah, 611 and a half is a decent entry. I'd already touched it. Wow, that's a big green bar. Wow. A little frightening. That is a big green bar. I don't know about shorting that green bar. Yeah, it bounced off the 200. That red line is the 200 EMA. Tagged it almost perfectly. Yeah, 221 and a quarter. Yep, that was almost exactly. Yeah, I'm too reluctant to take that short. I should have got in on it. It's only an evaluation anyway. There's a lot of volume around 620 here. Next week would be our rollover. 7 days until rollover. I think we are going to head for a new low, but getting my entry here is a little bit frustrating. It's holding that the 21 EMA quite well, especially in my eval. I can handle some pressure. Yeah. Yeah, 611.5 has been a good entry too. Yeah, we're coming down. There she comes. The low so far is about 582, 583. Yeah, it looks like the low so far is 582.75. Should have got into that short. We knew where it was going. It was just looking for a better entry. We're ultimately looking for, I think, at least 586.75. 586, there it is. Well, not quite. But, you know, that's a double bottom right there. Yeah. I might take a long off of this double bottom if we pull through 586.75 and then reject. Whoa. Eh. stopped here. Let's see if we can get out. Not good. Not good. I'll probably stay with this at least in another half an hour, but we're up 482. This particular eval I'm working on still needs a little over 500 bucks to finish. It's a 50K Apex. You can look at the top of the screen for the code if you want to get the best discount on Apex. Use that code at the top of the screen. It gives me a little bit of a little support for the stream. It's not much. I think if you I think it's something like 15% or something. but it doesn't cost you anything to use that code. It just gives you the best discount available and a little bit of commission to me. Fair value gap right in here. I was hoping it might come back to. We can draw that out. Hmm. All right, that trade puts us up 733 on the day. I need another about $265 to finish this eval. We'll see if we get it. I mean, there seems like there's still plenty of downside on this. Reason I entered there was that was a previous resistance point back last week. I don't know how much noise that mouse clicking is making. Hope it's not too annoying. But I don't think we're done on the short side. I wouldn't mind taking a short up in here at like 538. Maybe we'll hold off. We got possible points at 538, 558, 584. But I like this return to the 9 EMA right there. And it's still continuing up, so we haven't taken it yet. Well, let's see if it gets all the way back to the 21. It might be worth it for another short. Don't know. Are we done on the downside? Yeah, she's coming back up hard. And I want to short this, but I'm afraid that we've got a V bottom here. Maybe wait for 584. And there's definitely liquidity here at 66.5. I still think this wants to come down. guess I'll just hold off, see what happens. Nah, it was good. Yeah, there was a lot of liquidity at 66.5. Yeah, that was beautiful. From that 66.5 that I called out to here, it's 37.5 points, $750. And I assume that we'll go test that bottom again at 509.75 and probably go beyond that. We'll get down to 500 for sure. And we'll see if it breaks through that. There's a big fair value gap down at about 485. In case you're wondering, there's our P&L today. That's what, 733.16. It's on an eval, and we're about yeah, that's where we need to get to, is 53,000. So we got what $265 or something like that left. Yep, and now we're getting to that new bottom. Yep, we should have shorted it because that was a big one. Would have been done with that eval. Yeah, so far that's over $1,000 move off of the number we called that out at 566.5. But calling it out doesn't do much good if you don't take the trade, does it? Boy, I look blue. I had to work on that white balance. I'm not actually blue, I don't think. Still looking for shorts. That higher low could play out. For you price action traders, quote unquote, see, we hit the bottom of these trend lines and broke out above it. So theoretically, they would be calling for, after a break, you'd be looking for a new low before we head back up. So there's a good chance that we will pull back to below 511, see some rejection, and then head back up. Previous day, yesterday, or Friday's low was down at about 424.75. So that's 100 points from here. Tempted to try a long at 500. That is a pivot point. Pivot point at 499.5. But then we also have a big fair value gap below that between 497 and 473. That's an old one. That one goes way back, so it may or may not be valid. Didn't quite make it to that pivot point. So there is your new low. So for you traditional price action traders, like Mac traders and two-legged pullback type people, that would have completed. We had a break of the trend, pull back, new low, now head higher. Maybe. That's what they teach. What's that guy's name? Well, the panda dude, he trades that. But then also, what the heck was that guy's name? I'm looking for him on my favorites. Why don't I see him? He's here somewhere. I gotta weed out my favorites here. I don't really watch most of these anymore. Yeah, Thomas Wade. Yeah, so Thomas Wade, I think he would say that was potential for reversal, but what they would do is they would get their new low and wait for it to breach the 21 EMA, come back to it, and then head up. Me, my trades tend to be more instinctual, more mechanical. Like for instance, I have a pivot point at 499.5. I might, especially on an eval, take that trade and try to get a scalp off of it, even though we are clearly still bearish here. But we'll see. Some of the guys I like to watch are Red Day, Green Day, RDGD Trader, and Alpine, Travis. I used to watch Matt, but I don't know. Matt's trading seems weak. I don't really feel like I learned anything from him. Rips is a little more aggressive than I can afford to be. But they're all fun to watch. I don't really copy their trades just because, I mean, it's impossible. I mean, they all have sort of the same trading profile. They're all kind of discretionary. So it's hard to, unless you're going to flat out copy their trades best you can, it's not something that you can necessarily learn from them, I don't think, anyway. At least I don't. Mine's pretty traditional. I'm looking for pullbacks on trending down or up. You just wait for a pullback to one of the EMAs. The 9 is powerful, and 21 is powerful. But I got a couple different strategies. I'll pull back to previous day's open. I'll try to reverse that for a few points. I typically try to get 250 points unless I see it start to peter out. Then I might take what I can, because remember, most of these prop firms have a live trailing drawdown, so you can't just let it come back to zero, because if it went to 200 and then pulled back to your break even, you lost $200 on your drawdown. And you get too many of those, and it becomes painful. I don't overly worry about it, but putting your stop to break even isn't really break even if you still have a live trailing drawdown. Now my PA accounts, I generally trade micros, and I have 7 of those. Let me see. I only trade Apex at the moment. I've traded all of them, have paid out, got payouts from all of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 PAs with Apex, and I'm about $265 away from getting an 8. Ultimately, I'd love to have all 20 of them and just trade micros on them. You figure if you copy trade 20 of them with micros, even a $50 day on each one of them is $1,000. Did not trade any PAs. Mondays and Fridays, I'm very careful about trading the PAs. The price action is always kind of sketchy. So is that our bottom for the day? Are we heading up? We're just getting to the 21 EMA. It's tempting to take that trade short. I don't know, man. What the heck? Let's see. Let's watch what it's doing here at the 21. Seems like it wants to resist. We do have a new low after breaching that channel. Yeah, that was a great trade. I wish I would have taken it. It's way too hesitant. Look at that. Holy crap, that would have finished that eval. God damn it. Yeah, look at that. Beauty, eh? Now that it just take these stops, now it wants to head back up. Because like I said, there's a pivot that it bounced off of at around 500, 499 and a half. Went as low as 495. Are we done? Seems doubtful. Could try 480. But yeah, that was my short. That was dumb. Should have taken it. Like I said, just an eval. But yeah, we could try to scalp 480. But yeah, we should have entered at the 21 right there. And then we would have finished that eval instantly. But now we look like we're going. So much for breaking a new low. We could try 480, but it might just barrel right through that. But again, with an eval, yeah, maybe. But yeah, we just went through another pivot point at 500. Still as heavy as heck, yo. Look at this. And that doesn't even count the overnight session. we started this at 706, 21,706. That was in the overnight at 4 a.m. Eastern, and we've basically been going down since then. We got stuck in a range for a little while. Let's see, that was 483. Yeah, it didn't quite make it to 80, but we're in the middle of a fair value gap that extends from 497 down to about 473. It's a very old fair value gap, so don't know what value it is. What do we got here? Well, we're just going to wait now because I don't know if we're at the bottom or not. And we've already got our nice rejection of the 21, so this may be our new low that starts to send us back up. Who knows? Not me. But it does look heavy. And there's not a lot of reason for this to go up. Let me see what I got here. Let's see. Nvidia is down 3.4%. Tesla down 1.7%. Apple up 1.5%. Amazon flat. Meta down 2.4%. So, you know, Nvidia and Tesla are the ones that are moving things today, I believe. So, for now, I'm just going to watch it. Grabbed the wrong mouse and moved my whole OBS screen. There we go. That's the right mouse. Yeah, I'm uncomfortable shorting here in the hole. Let's see, I got some lines at about 450, and then we have an overnight low at 425. And I only need about 265 bucks here to finish this eval, so I should be able to get that. After 11 Eastern, though, I tend to like to wrap things up around now because I don't need. I hate the hours between 11 and say 2 Eastern. And this is still heavy as heck. Not that I needed it on this eval, but that short off of the 21 at 525, that's over. That's almost a $1,200 move. That's almost 60 points. Got a fair value gap here at 484, another one at 503.5. Those are the consequent encroachment points, meaning the middle of that fair value gap is at, like say, 503 and about 483. Is it done on the downside? Shorting down here is kind of terrifying for me. So we've moved quite a bit. What are we down? We're down, We're down less than, we're down 0.85% on NQ. Still looks like it wants to come down. Might get some resistance at 463 if it blasts through that. Next possibility would be 455-ish. Looks like it's tearing right through there. And these are pretty old fair value gaps, so they may not carry much weight. Yeah, we'll just keep going. Holy moly. Yeah, I'm not, I don't want to take a long here. I might try a little scalp down at 425. That's the overnight low. I think that's where my line is. Yeah, prior day's low, not the overnight low. That's Friday's low. Is at 424.75. So that one can usually deliver something. We just went through Friday's open, which was at 450, with very little reaction, just a little bit of reaction. That wick on the bar we're in now, that's rejection from Friday's open. Now we do have a fresh fair value gap here, so that would be like this one right here, fair value gap here. But I wouldn't take that one because it's not even, it doesn't even get you to the 9 EMA. And I'm not even sure how I feel about shorting this as it is, being that we've come so far. And what do I have here to even judge? Yeah, previous day's low is about all I have. Let's go to a higher time frame at 15-minute time frame. We've got some liquidity at about 390, 391, somewhere's in there. And actually, well, this is where we're at now, is some double bottom action. So let me pull up, see if I can do this. If I pull up my trading view, sorry, I didn't load that up properly. So I'll just describe it. So we had a demand zone that we just rejected at 441.75 on the 15-minute, and then the next one down would be at 391. So off of the 15-minute, 442.75, we go back to the 1 minute. Yeah, it's not even registering as a demand zone on a 1 minute. I don't have anything on my 1 minute. Nope. Have to go on the higher time frames to even see any demand zones. 3 minute. 3 minute shows me 426. So we could expect some sort of reaction at 426. But it did like that on the 15-minute. It did like that demand zone at 442.25. That rejected pretty nicely. 484 could be an opportunity for a short, I think. We'll see. Not sure. Hopefully we haven't already found our bottom and we're heading back up now. I can't believe I was on mute that whole time. Well, whatever. We didn't take a trade, but all you missed out on was my brilliant analysis. I can't believe I was on mute that whole time. Well, what I was basically saying was that the 9 EMA is clearly rolling over, and we had a nice fair value gap, and the middle of that fair value gap was at about 506.5, which is exactly where it went to. It rejected it, and now we're heading back down. I really want to get short here. I just hate. I really only like to get into a trade on pullback. Now the 9 EMA has now crossed the 21 on the 1 minute. So that gives me a little more confidence. But yeah, this is getting heavy fast. Maybe a wick test back to 495.75. All I need is 45 ticks to finish this eval. Yeah, this is only my second day on this 50K account, eval rather. I made 2,000 on Friday, so it left me 1,000 to get today, and I'm up 784 so far. Trying to get that last 45 ticks. What would that be? Like $215, something like that. Wow. Don't know. It's not behaving very well here. Let's see if we can break down or not. I thought that was going to move down a little quicker than that. Maybe we should get out of this. We'll see. I'll give it another second or two to breathe. And we got a fair value gap that just got created. wasn't feeling good about that, so I basically got out break even. We're at 795. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I should have stayed with it apparently. Yeah. Looks like I should have stuck with it. Yep, sure does. That would have wrapped things up. Well, I may have to leave this last 200 bucks for tomorrow. I already feel like I'm pushing it and just trying to trade stuff that I don't even see. I mean, look at how this tight movement is, and I'm still trying to take trades in this muck. Nvidia still down 3%. Something like 100 million contracts traded already on that. I said we are. Let me see what I'm doing here. So there's where we are right now. You see, I'm up 795 on the day, and 2796 is where I'm at on that eval. That's a 50K, obviously, so I need a little over 200 bucks. Yeah, this seems like a dangerous area to me. Yeah, what do we make of this? I really thought we were going down. But that looks like just a pullback. Yeah, I pulled back into that fair value gap and then reversed off of it. This is a fair value gap that we're stuck in. The next one is up at like 540-ish, like up in here, right there. I mean, there's lots of little ones. There's one here, but close to a 50% pullback on this yet. So if we use something along these lines there, it's hard to see it, but right there is your 50%, right at and I can't even see it myself. That's about what, 540 something, 542 something. So that would be our 50% mark. In fact, it lines up pretty well with where they had some resistance in here. Let's put a thicker line there. Oh yeah, 543 and a half, something like that. That's approximately our 50%, give or take. So that 50% retrace would be at about 544. I could put the fibs on there, but I really only care about the 50%. And you can see that lines up pretty nicely with previous price action right there. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see it pull up to there before we continue back down. I need another, what did I say? I need 42 ticks to finish up this 50K eval. And that would give me my 8th PA account with Apex. Don't know if we're going to get there or not. I'm going to have to sit and watch. I do like the 20. I mean, we could have finished this thing off 10 times already. I don't like the way these crosshairs are doing their thing here. Crosshair. There, it's better. All right, I do have a line at 516 and a quarter that it keeps reacting to, but it's touched it so many times. I have a feeling it's just waiting to break it now. If you're thinking of trying Apex for an eval, consider using my code at the top of the screen. It doesn't cost you anything more, but I will get the little commission instead of somebody else or Apex themselves keeping it. Also, if you're watching this later or non-live, consider hitting that like button, whether you like it or not, because that maybe will get more people to watch. The algo at YouTube might consider that a good thing. I guess you could dislike it too. I think it doesn't matter whether you like it or dislike it. I think it still shows as activity, because I think the dislike is less about globally. It's more about whether you dislike it or not, so that you won't keep getting similar notifications about these kind of streams. Anyway, we're up $7.95 on the day. We're trying to get our last couple $100 to finish this eval. We're shooting for 20 funded accounts at some point. We're up to, this will be our 8th one. We've had many in the past, of course. I've taken about $22,000 in payouts this year. I know, not incredibly impressive, but at least they're not losses. So I suspect I'll end up, I might be able to pull out another 2 before the end of the year. So that'll put me at maybe 24,000 in withdrawals from Apex this year. And we're shooting to get, this time I'm trying to get 20 funded accounts, and I think I'm going to trade those all with micro, because you figure if you can make $50, that's 2 12.5 point trades per day on 20 accounts. Copy trading them, that's $1,000 a day. It's 245 trading days in a year, so ideally that'd be $250,000. If you could even do half that, it's $125,000. So we'll see. Because my 22,000 that I made this year, I was strictly trading one E-mini for the most part. And, you know, I mean, it was able to get me 22,000 in withdrawals, but, you know, virtually all of the accounts were ultimately blown because, it's, you know, one E-mini on a 50K account is a lot when you only have $2,500 in drawdown. But I know this is pretty much died. This is like the worst time of day for me. I hate it. It won't pick up again until another 2 hours from now, I'm thinking. But we'll see. That's kind of a M pattern forming, isn't it? Like up, down, up, and then do we head back down? That certainly is my thesis. I don't think we're done. I think we're going to visit this bottom again. But the question is, do we go up before that? There seems to be a lot of resistance right there at 520-ish, 518, 520. Let's see what happens. That last $200 is frustrating because you tend to just take crappy trades, or at least I do, just to get it over with. And I've been within, you know, $100, $200 of finishing it and blowing up accounts just from frustration. So I'm trying to resist that going forward. This is our second day on this eval. We picked up $2,000 on that evaluation. That was a brand new evaluation on Friday, $2,000 Friday, and then we're trying to get our last 1,000 today, but it is not cooperating. Although I have to say I missed a lot of trades that I called out but didn't actually go into. Most recent was 520 here on this pullback, and you see that would have easily finished up my eval. Now I'm not so confident anymore. was we said our 50% retracement was around 543. 543. And there's actually a fair value gap, which the center point is 540. So, and there is a lot of reaction right at that area too in the past this morning. Yeah, I don't know. This was kind of a weird morning. Although, you know, it reacted at the places you would. You see, I've got lines, and if we look at the, it did what you would expect it to at various points. I don't know if it's terrible price action, but maybe because it's Monday, I don't feel as confident in my trading as I do later in the week because I have the weekend off. But again, I mean, if I quit right now, 795 is not a bad day, and I don't feel like I was YOLOing into these just because it's an eval. I feel like I was trading them the same I would trade my PA accounts. Yeah, this just seems, trading in this area just seems like you're just opening yourself up to be trapped. You don't know if they're trying to trap longs or shorts here. You know, they send it up here. They take out these stops. There's likely to be stops right up around here. They could rotate up, take those stops, send it down, or they can come down here, take those stops here, and head it back up. It's just a very dangerous minefield area, in my opinion. In fact, I shouldn't even be trading this time of day. I mean, the first from 8:30. Well, I'm in Central Time, but let's call it 9:30 Eastern to 11 o'clock Eastern. That's of course my bread and butter. You could even back to 9 o'clock and before the open can be some pretty nice price action. But I got my first trade at like 8:32 or something. That was $250, and it was instant. You just waited for it to come to one of my lines, took the trade, and I mean, we're talking 10 seconds. I'm out of it with $250. It's back at 8:30. Oh, there she goes. She is spilling. She is dumping. Yeah, but see, it's like it's a decent couple decent red bars, but we still have a lot of stops sitting around down in here. But I mean, this could easily just be a big range. Not even a big range. Just we could be stuck in this range where it's just going to come down to here, this fair value gap, where it reversed in the first place, and just come right back up to the top here, and just keep doing that until 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's a higher low. Let's see if that was just because you can see even their stops here. They could have just tried to pick up these stops and then head back up. Let me look at my trading view chart here. Yeah, so we've got supplies forming at 520 and demand forming at 484 on the 1 minute. Not forming, it's already formed. But how many times can they dip into that? Who knows? We've already dipped into the supply area at 520 several times. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dips into there. Now we've never dipped into this demand zone at 484 yet. And if we break through that, we got another demand area at 438-ish. I keep moving this thing on my OBS. Sorry about that. I've got like 3 mice here. I'm not a very good streamer. Hopefully I'll get better as time goes by. It's a miracle that it's working at all, to tell you the truth. And we got declining volume here. Yeah, it's basically just doing nothing. Like if I look at the higher time frames, 15-minute still looks pretty bearish on the 15-minute. 3-minute. 3-minute, it's basically a bunch of dojis. Yeah. I don't think there's anything safe to do here. Let's take a look at the underlying stocks here. Apple up 1 3/4. Microsoft up 0.8. Google up 0.8. So the movers here, we got Amazon up 1.1, 1.15. So the big movers here, the Nvidia is down 2.7, which is off of its low, and Tesla down 1.1. So I don't know. This is just a dead zone for me. It almost came back up to grab some of that supply around 519 or 520. Well, like the middle of that supply zone is about 519. Didn't quite make it there. But I do have a line that I've drawn quite a while ago, and honestly, I'm not exactly sure what it shows because it was from far back, and that line is at, at about 516 and a half, and it's been reacting to that like crazy. Like I said, I draw lines and leave them on there because they're from previous days even sometimes, and they still tend to work. Like I said, that one, put a line on your chart at 516 and a half and look how many times it bounced off of it. And I drew that line, I mean, possibly days ago. It's like beyond the limits of my 1 minute chart. Although if you leave enough lines on the chart, there's a line at every point, so it'll always work. There's nothing to do here, in my opinion. All the EMAs are starting to bunch together. Where's our VWAP? Oh, VWAP is all the way up at around 575 on the 1 minute. We're well below VWAP. Sorry for the silence. There's really not much to say in this area. I mean, ultimately, I think we are going to see a new low, but where do we go before that happens? There's quite a few fair value gaps above us. I drew on the chart here. That's interesting. This blue line here, that is roughly the 50% retrace on this bear run here. So this blue line here is approximately 50%, and you can see it lines up exactly with the 200 EMA at the moment. So we could see that. That would be a healthy pullback in order, if you believe that we are going down and this is going to ultimately be bearish, that wouldn't be a bad entry for a short. I mean, it almost certainly will react, so you can at least get anywhere from $100 to $250 on the E-minis with that, I would think. We could throw up the fibs, but I don't really use the damn, I keep moving this chart instead of, it's wrong mouse. So that we could do that, I suppose. Let's go to our fibs. Oh crap, I got most of my screen off there. Sorry, this is trying to line this up here. All right, so let's say that is the top, that is the bottom, and there's our 50%, lines up right around where that blue line is. I put it. We can move that if we want, readjust it. And so now we're we've gone up to the 38.2 fib, bounced off of it nearly perfectly. Same thing with the 23. So we're kind of trapped between those two fib markers. But again, I don't really use those very much. I just kind of like to know where the 50% one is, at least for day trading. So we'll remember that this blue one is our 50% retrace and see if it produces anything interesting. But yeah, we're just stuck in that range. It was sort of interesting that it is almost perfectly bouncing between first and second fib markers. It's lunchtime in New York, so if you buy into the whole slowdown during lunch, we're right in the middle of it. I don't know if I buy it or not. I guess the theory would be that actual human beings went to lunch and they turn on the algos to trade. I don't know if that's true or not. Anybody who tells you that they do know it is full of crapola. Maybe the traders that are actually down there at the New York or at Nasdaq or New York Stock Exchange. But other than that, nobody on YouTube knows, I can tell you that. What's going to happen? I'm looking at NVIDIA here, and it's right around its point of control, so that could cause confusion. And it looks to me that NVIDIA is basically controlling this NQ Nasdaq market for today, which it's not. It basically has been a one stock market lately. A one stock market, not one stock market. Fair value gap was created right here. We can put that up there. Oops. And by the time I get it up there, it will already be in it. Oh, something like that. So the middle of it's right around there at 502.5, something like that. But at the moment, there's no real reason to believe that this is going to plummet or rocket. I mean, it's basically been in this range since from here to here. Let's see, that opened up. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, 11:30. So for an hour, we've been in this range. It's not to say you couldn't have made money. I mean, there are range traders that probably been trading that for the last hour. Just buy it down here, sell it here, go short here, buy it back here. I mean, you just do that for the last hour, I suppose. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each of those was Yeah, those are 500-point moves, 25-point moves, 500-point on the E-mini. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that could have been $2,500 if you're a range trader. I should probably try to find some copyright-free music to play in the background for times like this. Problem is, it seems like all the streamers play the exact same playlist because there's not a lot of copyright-free stuff that you can even use. So they tend to use the Stream Beats Lo-Fi. And it's just repetitive. It's just over and over and over. And everyone you go to who plays music is the same music over and over and over. Well, I might just shut this down because I've been sitting here for a long time without a trade because we're just stuck. If you want to be notified of when I go live again, which should be every morning, more for the most part, go ahead and hit the like button and the little alert bell, so it'll let you know when I go live. I don't have a set time, probably somewhere between 8 and 8:30. I generally sit down at my chair, and sometimes I am just setting things up at that time. But in general, I like to have things rolling by 8 o'clock. And then I'll go live sometime after 8. And if you would be so kind as to hit that like button, it would be appreciated too, so we can get some more people in this stream going forward. And if you're interested in Apex as a prop firm, which is what I use, please use that code that you see scrolling across the top of the screen. And that gives me a tiny little something. It doesn't cost you anything more. It just steers the commission to me versus other streamers or to Apex themselves. I like Apex a lot. I've never been denied a payout, and lately they've been crazy fast. Like within 24 hours, the money's in my account. They did have a little, over the summer, they did have some problems where they were taking forever to get payouts. A couple weeks sometimes. Like they seem to have solved that problem, thankfully. But yeah, lately they've been great. They've made a lot of positive changes, but the one thing I'm disappointed in, I used to be able to take a $2,000 trade, a $2,000 payout when I hit 2,600 on a 50K account. And now when you get to 26, you can only take a maximum of 500 out of your buffer. That's your buffer is when you get to 2,600. So you can only take 500 out of that, and then never go lower than $500 in your buffer to get a payout. So So you get to 2,600, take your 500, it gets you to 21. Get it back up another 500, and you can do that every 8 days or something like that. Is that right? I think that's right. Every 8 days. So it's not too bad. But if that's what you have to put up with, no other company allows you to draw from the buffer that I'm aware of. So I think once I get my 20 accounts with Apex, I might pick up some Top Step accounts. But I've had a lot of them. Bolinox I've got payouts from Bolinox. Luckily, I didn't get caught up in that, what was it, that company that went out of business, Fast Track Trading. Luckily, I avoided that one. In fact, it turned out good for me because they didn't accept credit cards. You could either give them your bank information, which I had no interest in, or you could pay them in crypto. So it took me a little while to get my Coinbase account set up and buy my crypto. And by then, they started to falter. So I never bought an account with them, yet you've seen what's happening to crypto lately. When I'm talking about Bitcoin. So it turned out that me creating a Coinbase account to pay them and put some money, buy some Bitcoin, turned out to be more profitable to just have the Bitcoin than to trade with Fast Track Trading, which is now defunct. A lot of guys lost they lost any payouts they had, but they also lost their fees that they paid to get the accounts in the first place. They claim they're going to give refunds on the fees, but I seriously doubt it. I think that's just a bunch of bull. I don't think anyone's going to see a dime. Yeah, this is just miserable. All right, I'm going to call that a wrap. It's 12:30. I may look back at these, in the last hour, the power hour. Maybe I'll take a look, see what's going on, or if I see it move, I may take a trade to pick up my last $200. Otherwise, pick it up tomorrow and try to finish off that eval. This was only day 2 anyway, so we're in pretty good shape. So in 2,800, I had 2,000 on Friday, but I traded that all day from like opening to close to make that $2,000. And now we made another 800, so we're at about 2,800 in 2 days. So we should be able to finish it off tomorrow morning, I hope. But anyway, I think that's it. This is just a boring waste of time. All right, well, I will see everybody tomorrow morning. Like I said, hit that like button and hit the alerts, and you'll see when I go live tomorrow morning. All right? Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.